Yo, it's Guido coming at you with a Tactics Talk. Welcome back. Thanks for tuning in and the support of the channel. Houston, we have a problem. Houston, we have a problem. That's what this one is titled. You can see that I'm in the middle of a scrap here on Himmelsdorf, and it happens to be an encounter battle. You can see that the fight up on top of the hill is going poorly. Watch me bounce the side of the projectile. Yeah. Oh, no, I didn't bounce. Never mind. I did get damaged. Look at that. Oh, I actually blocked his shot. Wait a minute. What happened there? I didn't get any damage. Terrible. I bounced. Anyway, Houston, we have a problem. So let's take a look at this. Encounter Himmelsdorf. Alright, folks. I'm going to go negative here. That's why it's called Houston, we have a problem. Because sometimes I run into situations or players or this game situation overall, and I can't for the life of me wrap my mind around how people get to where they get. Now, if you are subscribed to my channel or watching, then you're probably attempting to get better, and more than likely you are willing to listen to somebody else tell you that you're doing it wrong. That you're doing it wrong. You've probably come here and realized at some point, wow, I'm doing it wrong. Or maybe I want to get a little better. Or maybe I want to watch Guido be bad and I'm better than him. That's possible too. But the vast majority, I think, are here to maybe learn something as far as how to play this game. So they've said, Houston, we've got a problem. And they've gone looking for help. Now, if it's not me that helps, find somebody else. But in general, even if you're a low percentage win rate kind of person, you're probably here trying to get better, and the blaming everyone else thing, the game mechanics thing is gone, or is on the way out. But there are still people out there at 30,000, 40,000, sub 50 win rates who have an impressive ability to not learn a single thing. And it really hits home on maps like this one, because the meta is pretty well entrenched on a lot of the maps. Sometimes a new map comes out and it takes a while for the meta to develop. Sometimes a significant change in the game happens and the meta shifts, or maybe the map moves around slightly and the meta shifts a little bit. But this one in particular, is one of the maps that you can basically say the meta is X, and that is by and far the best way to win this map. And it happens to be what the red team did. The majority of them went up the hill and took the hill, and now they're going to flank all of our guys wandering around in 14 different places down on the bottom. So we sent an IS-7, the FV, the Type 4, and they managed to go around and kill the Arty and kill the 100. They actually got rid of, or maybe we got him up top, I don't remember. Yeah, the 277 was up top, so we managed to kill him up there. And right now you might go, ooh, this looks pretty good. This looks pretty good. Greens have two of their 10s left. The IS-7's in good shape. Let's go ahead and start playing this. They're hunting down the WT. They're down on cap. But the meta. The meta on this map is the meta for a reason. It's because it works. It works. It does. And for some reason, there are still people who believe that going to the cap on an encounter, and in this particular map, in particular, that going to the cap is a good idea. But that just simply isn't true. And after 38,000 battles, sub 50% win rate, you still believe that? How? Houston, we have a problem. You have managed somehow you have managed, after 30,000 battles, to not really learn one of the maps. Now, plenty of maps can be done in a non-meta way. Sometimes you have a particularly good team or bad team, or you just all zerged one way and it worked out. But the point of a meta is not that sometimes you win a different way. The point of a meta, the reason it develops, is because most of the time you win a certain way. And that's why it's meta. That's why it's the best idea. You can see that the IS-7 is down here. We're going to pause it for just a minute because we were in good shape. We were in pretty good shape. But what happened? What happened? All the guys that went down to the cap, a couple of them sat on it, basically uselessly, doing nothing. Took a couple hits, clearing off the couple tanks that the Reds sent down. But now the reds are coming off the hill, and they're doing it in a more coordinated fashion, usually together, whereas the IS-7 has haired off into the middle of the map on his own after having gone down to the bottom with 528 damage. Oh, that's me. Never mind. I don't know what his damage was. And there was a discussion, I'll start again. There was a discussion then about, hey, how have you not learned, after all this time, you, the rest of the team that went down to the bottom, that the best way to win this map is to take the hill and come off the hill together and then Pac-Man up all of the rest of the guys that are sitting down at the bottom. You can see that things are going south now, which is exactly how the meta operates on this map. And my question then is, how on earth do you play this game as much as some people do and not learn that fact? Not learn the little tricks about what's meta, what's the best way to win. And in fact, when we discussed it with the person I'm talking about, who will remain nameless, he or she honestly believes that going down to the cap on this map is the best idea. They honestly believe that. When objectively, it is not. It's not even close. And I would bet you money, if you asked 10 good players, call it 55% and above, 9 of the 10 would say win the hill. And that's pretty unanimous. I'm going to have to leave one there just because there may be somebody who doesn't believe that, who's actually a good player, and maybe they can actually make that happen. They're so good. But the meta on the map is established, as it is on many other maps. And you go against that at your own peril. At your own peril. And more than likely, if you are sitting at 48%, sub 50 after 30 grand or more battles, you're doing something wrong. Houston, we have a problem. And you have to be able to look at your own results and say, you know what? I've done this a lot, over and over again, and I'm starting to think my ideas aren't correct. I mean, you really have got to be honest with yourself. You're not Patton. You're not inventing something new in World of Tanks. There's nothing new under the sun, only very rarely. You know where new things are, new under the sun in World of Tanks? It's things like boosts and climbing. But if you think there's a new technique or meta or way to win a map, any of the maps, even at this point, Empire's Border or whatever it's called, you're smoking something. Because the fact is, many very much better players than you have already figured out how to win, and they do it. That's why they're at 55, 58, 62%, and you're sitting there at 48%. A little bit of introspection, a little bit of honesty with yourself would go a long way. Now, I'm preaching to the choir here. Most of the people, I would say, here have realized that, or are already pretty good, and are willing to take the input from somebody else and at least accept the possibility that they're wrong. But this person in this game was stone cold adamant that the way you win this particular map is you go down to the cap. And that is wrong on nearly every encounter map. Not all. There's a couple of them where going towards the cap's a good idea. Steps is one of them in particular, for different reasons. The major one, and let's go ahead and compare and contrast these two maps a little bit, because it's the same idea. The encounter spot is on one whole flank, but on Steps, it's a much bigger map. It's also much more difficult to cross that map than it is on Himmelsdorf. Himmelsdorf, you can E&E your way through the buildings and be upon the cap in moments. Even in a slow tank, you can get back, which is why, on this particular map, taking the hill is what you do. Come up with every tank you can muster, sweep them off as fast as possible, and then flank as groups on whatever goofballs went down towards the cap, who are probably still fighting your goofballs down at the cap. Now, ideally, you don't have as many goofballs down there, and they're able to hold on for a bit. Now, could you fast cap this map? Yeah. Maybe you send a guy or two down, and the other team doesn't send anybody, and the slog up on the hill takes a long time. Then yes, that is one of the exceptions to the meta. That could happen, but it doesn't. Really, the way you win this map is by taking the hill and moving down. And in general, Houston, we have a problem. If you're sitting with bad stats, there's a reason. There really, really is. All right, guys, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for listening to me rant. We will see you.